During your quality control, you might find it helpful to pin specific columns. This is a great way to compare the thing that you're most interested in with everything else. It's kind of similar to how you have the freeze function on an Excel spreadsheet. So let's imagine I'm doing an asbestos survey. A key thing that I might want to compare things against is the sample ID. So let's full screen this inspection section, and I'm going to scroll to the right till we find this sample ID column. So a common task during an asbestos survey could be to reconcile your sample results against the results from the lab, in which case the sample ID is the most important thing that you're interested in. So I'm going to click this little icon here next to sample ID. I'm going to say pin column to the left. Now you'll notice that the sample ID has fixed itself to the left hand side here, which is great, because if we scroll right and left, that remains fixed, and we can therefore compare the sample ID against any other column quite easily. What makes this more useful though is to add a sort on that specific column. So if I tap the column header like so, you'll see this is now sorting by sample ID descending. If I click it again, that will reset the sort direction, and if I click it a third time, then you can see it's now sorting by sample ID, but this time in ascending order, which is what we want. We have a separate video on sorting columns, so I suggest you check that out. So this has been really useful if I'm wanting to compare this field against other bits of data in my inspection section. But what I can also do is I can add a second pinned column. So for example, let's say I want to also see the material. I can click this one again and pin this to the left. So this still isn't exactly what I want. I actually want to have the sample ID as the first column. So I'm going to drag this over to the left, and please check out our reordering columns video if you want to know more about that. But you can see now we have sample ID as the furthermost left column, then material, and both sample ID and material are now fixed. So if we were to scroll right and left like before, those don't actually move, they just stay exactly as they were. Now we can add a second sort by clicking a second time. So I'm going to do this from scratch. I'm going to hold the shift key. So I'm going to first sort by sample ID, hold the shift key, and then sort by material. That's a bit more of a useful sort because it kind of matches the pinned columns that we have here. By combining a few of these different features, we've got some really powerful way of kind of looking at this information. If you do want to remove the pin columns, by the way, you just click on this icon again, and we can either say no pin, just to get rid of that specific pin column, or you can say reset columns, and that will remove all pins from all columns. So just to recap, pinning columns is an excellent way of keeping some data fixed while you want to compare it against some other things. And don't forget, you can also pin multiple columns if there are multiple key bits of information that you want to be sort of comparing against those other things too. So yeah, pinned columns combined with reordering columns and sorting is a powerful feature during your quality control process.